Hello, Virgo. This is May. This is what you have in store for the month of May. Let's find out what your alignment messages are here and what you are being employed to align to. We're also going to look at love. All right, let's go ahead and see what's going on. Ooh, some of you guys may be dealing with a Capricorn. Okay. All right, I need to see the full picture before I start commenting. Interesting. So, Virgo, the energy here is of completing a karmic cycle. There has been a story that you've been playing out in your life that seems to be a reoccurring theme. A good way of describing it, Source is giving me like, you're just basically telling the same fairy tale with different actors involved, but it's the same story. The story begins the same, it's the same in the middle, and it ends for the same reason. Source says you're playing out the same story in each, or you're playing the same character in each of these stories, and it's time for you to complete this story for yourself. There's an energy here of feeling as if you are never chosen for some reason. And I keep getting that it's not giving me a definitive source of this wounding. It's not telling me why this wounding is here. For each of you guys, it's going to be different. But the energy here is of becoming someone of value so that you don't feel that another person leaving you robs you of your self-worth. There's an energy here of recognizing that another person can't give you worth anyway. What actually is of value is working on the things that people cannot take away from you, which is your integrity, your honesty, your ability to follow through. All of these things people can't take away from you, no matter what they say about you, no matter what their idea of you may be. If you are a person that follows through with their word, is always honest, is integritous, and has a kind heart, nobody can take those things from you. Your character is something that you build, and you build it with consistency. And so Source is saying to me, what you will realize by the end of May is that instead of looking outside of yourself for the things that will make you feel these feelings of worth that are in the things that I just mentioned, that can't be given to you by somebody else thinking you have those things. You either have those things or you don't. And nobody can take those things away from you if you have those things, because they come from your consistency of honoring who you are to yourself, not to others, but to yourself. So Source is saying to me that cycle of going outside of yourself for validation and worth ends once you look in the mirror and go, you know what, Virgo, it's time for you to honor who you say you are and walk the walk. And so Source is saying to me, that is what is in front of you within the next 20 days. Guess what? The quickest way to get to the place that I'm talking about is by starting as soon as you watch this video, claiming this video and going, I will earn enough faith in myself to never go outside of myself for the things that I know that I deserve. And then you will magnetize that which you are seeking to feel, because you will have it within you and it will magnetize it outside of you. All right, so that being said, let's find out what love has in store for you by the end of May. This is a very karmic month. Like, you've got the Death card here, you have the Hierophant, you have the Judgment card, and you have your card, which is the Hermit. That is the Virgo card. And then you have the World here, which is the end of a karmic cycle that will happen if you employ the things that I just said. All right, let's look at love for my Virgos by the end of May? Okay. So, listen. Source is telling me, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself the way that you would take care of another? Source is telling me, if you wouldn't let your best friend drink as much as you do, eat as much as you do, talk shit about themselves the way that you do, then there needs to be a reboot within your mind with what you're doing to yourself. Source is telling me it's time for you to start some body care regimen. Listen, we're talking about love, and what Source is screaming at me, it's the self-love month for my Virgos. Self-love. Start on May 1st, or whenever you see this video, start, and 30 days ahead, if you commit to doing something for your body, for your mind, for your spirit on the daily, you will start radiating and feeling empowered, because your words will hold value, and you will no longer have to retreat into yourself because you feel as if you are not worthy of what is on the other side of you making a commitment to yourself. On the other side of you making a commitment to yourself, dear Virgo, is a life transformed, because you will not seek outside of yourself for something that is less than you deserve, because you will know what you deserve, because you are pouring into yourself. It's time to go, Virgo. You need to focus on Virgo. Virgo, you need to focus on Virgo. Pour into yourself so that you can feel completely nourished by how you treat yourself. And that is what Source is telling me. Now let's go ahead and find out what will help you come into alignment. What will help my Virgos come into alignment? You know, my shoulders are feeling tight right now, and you're holding on to some burdens that may not be your own, so that you then can give, like Source is telling me, you're holding on to burdens that are not your own, so that you don't have to. There's something about being a martyr for my Virgos that allow them to then not make the changes that they need to make, that feel way more encumbersome than to carry somebody else's burdens. And Source is like, no amount of you carrying somebody else's karma is going to fulfill your karma. Source is saying to me, look at what Source just gave me for you guys to come into alignment. You've got literally the hawk here, and then you have the eagle. So Source is telling me it's time for you to look at things from the larger perspective. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Not by the end of May, but where do you want to be by the end of the year? Do you want to be exactly where you are right now by the end of this year? Well, then continue doing exactly what you're currently doing. But if you want to be in a different place, you need to make bite-sized pieces changes that then will become an enormous change by the end of the year. And Source says it begins by small habitual commitments to yourself. And if you do this, you will look back at yourself a year from now and be in awe of how different your life feels and how different you feel about your life. So if you want to claim this message, all you have to do is like it. I'm Nety, I guide, and I will see you on the next one.